Hey, thank you, Greg. Really appreciate it. I feel like a radio host today because I got my microphone, you guys. So anyway, today we got the one and only Gingis Don. He hails from Brooklyn, and I know some things about him because we're friends. And one thing I know for sure is he loves Biggie, Kanye, Drake. Those are his top three rappers of all time. And Gingis, I don't know if you know this, but you're muted. So so yeah, he's a great producer, drummer, and his favorite hobby is bicycling, and he goes really fast into traffic, even if you're behind him. I know that for a fact. So yeah, Greg and I want to thank Gings for coming on the Working Artist Project tonight, and we're gonna get right into things. And I want to start out by just talking about why you create music the way that you do.
Um, well, I produce because I like to create feeling. I like to create like moments in time for other artists to like just do their thing over. Like that's my favorite thing to do. Drumming, it's a different story. Like recently, as of recently, like I've been even before the pandemic, I've been kind of I guess falling out of love with drums. Not gonna lie.
That's unbelievable, bro. That's really
and
offensive, but go ahead.
and yeah, so like at one point I was drumming just because like it felt it like I just was good at this instrument and I was better at it than any other instrument that I played. So that's the reason why I was like into drumming. And then I guess that's not a really stable thing. It's not a really stable like what's the term I'm looking for? Moral, I guess. It's not really stable moral to like base your whole career off of. So I guess now I'm falling out of it, falling out of love with it because it's more so like whatever to me.
Okay. Well, listen, you're an amazing producer, and I hope people right now go to Spotify or your Bandcamp and start listening to some of your music right now as you're listening to this podcast. But man, I'm not surprised that you're falling out of love with drums because every other day you post a Facebook post, I'm gonna quit drums. And
Yeah, yeah.
so so if you follow him, you already know it's like he's like, yeah, 1 year from today, you won't see me playing drums ever again. But
This is
come to
my
my
last
show
year.
tonight. This is your last year, 2020.
2020 is my last year. December 31st, 2020 is my last year playing drums.
Yo, you
Can
picked
I?
the right year to end drums.
Hey man, it's a sign.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Man, I just think it's hilarious that both you guys don't have microphone stands.
I
No, I got a microphone
I have
stand.
a
I got
microphone
one.
stand.
Got about 50 of them back there.
The Working
But
Artist Project, sponsored by. Man,
no,
but you man. So just to kind of keep going on what Darrian threw you right in the deep end right off the bat, man. Why do you love music? Not even warming them up or anything like that. But yo, like, can you talk about that transition though? Like from, I think like for me, I've gone through like a lot of ups and downs in terms of like how I feel about music, how I feel about my playing, how I feel about playing saxophone, clarinet, and like so you were saying that, like, I want to stop playing drums. Like, so you talk about that kind of that process that you were going through, like mentally, and also
Yeah,
like I'm sure that's like quite an emotional process too, like letting go of an instrument and changing the your focus in terms of your creativity.
yeah. I always consider myself like a pretty introspective person, and like I pride myself in being able to like self-reflect and knowing my limitations. And so for me, I was asking myself the question of does playing drums make me happy? And I guess like this pandemic has been a blessing and a curse. And it's been a curse in terms of financially, it's been a curse at one point. But then it's also been a blessing because it's also allowed me to clear my mind and see like exactly what I want to do in life, and just like reevaluating like the choices that I made career wise. So with drums, right? Like what I hated the most was just like bringing everything to gigs and like having to lug that quick. Like Darrian knows, you got to lug all like the cymbal bags everywhere, and and just to like play these gigs that just make you like question if you want to be a musician or not, you know, because some nights, like, not every gig is going to be great, you know, and you don't have control over that to an extent. um and so with me, it was just like i didn't I didn't see myself doing this for that much longer because I had bigger plans. I didn't want to do a like prepare 3 hours, practice 3 hours, do 2 rehearsals for a gig that pays $75, you know,
Absolutely.
when I feel like with production, the return on investment is a lot better, you know, in terms of in comparison to drums. So yeah, that was my main takeaway, and what I was really focusing on and why I wanted to like stop playing drums. But okay, don't get me wrong. When I say I'm done playing drums, I'm done playing gigs, right? I'm done playing gigs that I don't want to play.
Yeah.
So I'll play like for my own solo project, my own solo band that I have, and then I'll play for like recordings. But I don't see myself playing like shows like that anymore.
Yeah. Also, man, I just want to say, man, you're right. Like, it sucks bringing drums around, but also I've seen you bring drums around with no cases from Jersey in a taxi, which is crazy to me. So you weren't actually doing it the best way, you know. But hey, man, listen, I get it. And it's interesting because this time has made everybody, you know, look within and be like, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I will accept from the world? How will I create my existence, you know? And living day to day with nothing to do, and you just wake up, go to sleep, wake up, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, man, I'm getting closer to the end.
Yeah.
So I need to really get focused here, you know? Yeah, that's deep. Damn, bro. I got some. What books you reading?
I'm on The Alchemist right now, man. I just got
Oh
the
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a great. With me, I've definitely read that book like 5 times.
Where are you at in The Alchemist?
I just started
You just started?
like today.
If you want something, the whole universe will conspire.
Yo, I believe that. Greg, I 100%
Don't
I
spoil it
believe.
for me.
No. If you want something, that's just a general principle of life, I think, though. Like, if you want something, like, I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, bro. Greg knows I'm from the country. Like, ain't no jazz nowhere around. So I had
Yeah.
to like manifest it to get to this point, to meet you in New York City and to meet Greg in New Orleans, you know. So that's real. So are you also quitting drums because jazz is a
Man,
hypocrite?
fuck jazz, man.
Okay. That's I don't play jazz, but you know, I play Black American music. But yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
nah. It's just like okay. So my journey drumming has been a little bit different than I would say like a lot of people, because it was always second place to something else. So in high school, I was playing basketball, and I had like a scholarship, and I went to school to play ball, and then I wasn't really drumming. Like I only started drumming like seriously until my junior year of college, and that's when I like focused on it. And even when I was focusing on it just felt like it wasn't the end all be all for me. So um damn, I forgot what the original question you asked what.
I was trying to figure out why you hate jazz.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay, yeah. So then when I started drumming again, like I was primarily playing jazz, because I was in Boston. I was like close to Berkeley, close to NEC, close to like Wally's Jazz Club, and all the friends that I was developing, the friendships I was developing were in jazz. And so initially I loved the music, and I was studying it and everything, getting lessons with like with a lot of different people, like great jazz artists. But then not until I came back to New York, and like within a year and a half, I like started to get into other genres of music. I switched up, and like my love for it just changed completely. And now it's more like when I practice, I'll rarely like practice like some traditional swing or whatever.
Right.
It'll be like more modern jazz stuff. than swinging.
So was
'Cause-
what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying because to be honest, I think that music is dying, and I'm not like I'm an advocate for keeping jazz alive, but I also feel like the essence of jazz is a representation of whatever time period it is at the moment. So the times right now, I don't think they call for like swing. I think they call for something that's more reflective of what's going on in the climate. So that could be some like hardcore shit because it's some hardcore shit that's happening in life right now.
I would disagree with you because I think swing can be hardcore. Now, if you're trying to play swing like they played it in 1922 or 30 or the 40s, 50s, 60s, or even last year,
Yeah.
that's what to me when it becomes problematic. When the music doesn't represent the time or
Yeah.
it doesn't represent you. You got to play it the way you feel it and hear it. That's how I think about it, you know.
Yeah.
But Greg, you had a question, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on it, but I was going to ask, like, again, like with the transition into becoming more of like a full-time producer, did you like, or at least falling out of love with jazz? Like, was that purely like a result of like logistics, like lugging the drums around, or just like feeling like the music is old and dated, or did you? I mean, do you like? Were you just angry at the music, or like you feel like cats like so like I feel like a lot of jazz musicians like have this like, since traditionally if you go to school you're going to study classical music or you're going to study jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just wondering if like maybe like how do you get out of that mindset, man? Just like feeling like as a musician you're going to create great music, but like getting out of the box of like it's got to be swing or some shit like that.
Yeah. I was never angry at the music. I think I'm more like my distaste comes from the culture around it and like cats just thinking that playing jazz is a way of life, like it's gonna make you successful in life. And I'm more of like a person that's I I believe specifically in having multiple streams of income. Like that's my theory about living well. Like you have to have multiple streams of income. And if you're a jazz musician, I feel like that puts you in a box. Like there's a multitude of jazz musicians, especially like the older ones who, had that mentality that like, man, it's just the music. The music comes first. And I'm like, all right, but they're not in a great place,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that my quarrel with the culture of jazz is that it's in a box and there's not much adaptability in people's mindsets of how jazz can be taken to like somewhere else, and you can also monetize it, so
Absolutely.
for me, what I'm trying to do with my production is somehow like bridge like like playing jazz and also bringing it to like a more modern audience,
Yeah. That's dope, man. And I think you're absolutely right. I would agree with you that, sometimes jazz musicians, the way they think about life is here,
Yeah.
and and Greg, I think Greg agrees too, because we have a whole summer camp where we teach kids, hey man, you need to be thinking about X, Y, and Z, multiple streams of income, because just playing might not be enough. And you need to get your financial situation together. You got to do this and that, blah, 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 whatever.
There's rare cats that like, there's only a handful of cats that can like make a living just playing, like to having that one stream of income.
Yeah, like 1%.
Yeah.
The rest of us teach, play, you do this and that on the side. You do a lot of different things.
I can't remember who said that, but it's like the 1% rule of any field, and basically says that the top 1% is going to earn 90% of the income in any given field. So you got your Winton and
Right.
and whoever else is up at the top making the majority of the money.
Even Winton teaches too. So.
Oh yeah, Winton does everything. Yeah.
So, for cats out there, if you're just tuning in, we got Gingis Don, the great producer out here. You can get on Spotify, Bandcamp, and everything like that, and check out his music. It's really good.
Don't forget drummer.
Okay, he's a drummer until December 31st, 2020, and then when you see him on the street, do not call him a drummer, dude, because that's gonna be offensive, man.
Yep.
He also likes Kanye, which I want to get into later. But before we do, I'm curious to know what you think the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
How is that in hip hop intertwined, and how are they both affecting one another?
It's like yin and yang, because music is always going to be, well, for me, the important music is always going to be a representation of the climate, you know? And so with Black Lives Matter, it's a movement, and it's more than just like a fad, you know? It's not, I think it's here to stay, and I hope it's here to stay. And so the music that, like, especially hip hop right now, hip hop's the biggest genre in the world right now, and it's technically pop music. Hip hop is pop music right now. And so I think that hip hop the birth of hip hop comes from like the struggle of Black people in the U.S., and because it came from like b-boying and like breakdancing and stuff, and that's like the hip hop culture, and that's what it represents. And so Black Lives Matter, I think, is more of like a cultural shift in America's like upbringing and thinking, you know? And I think that they align with each other. They align with each other, because you can't have hip hop. You can, but like overall, you can't have hip hop and not say, you can't listen to hip hop and not say that Black lives don't matter.
Say, buddy, I don't know if you told all them other motherfuckers that, because I guarantee them all lives matter cats listening to hip hop. They love Beyonce. They love Jay-Z.
But when you were talking about hip hop being the highest grossing form of music, I was like, man, I think number 2 or maybe number 1 is country music too. So it's like those two are right up there. Oh, really?
Yeah, it surpassed country music like I think a year or 2 ago.
I know NASCAR is the highest grossing sport in the States. So
Jesus Christ.
No, but that's like, I guess that speaks to the polarity of like what the entire conversation is about too, though, you know? It's like you have these two sections of the population that exist in the United States that ultimately we got to find a way to work it out.
Yeah. That's the rough part. It's like, how do you acknowledge something that's happening and keep the peace between all of these people with a lot of different ideas? I mean, even just within the Black Lives Matter community, there are a billion different ideas about what Black Lives Matter, the movement, really means, and how we should act on it. You know what I mean?
And it's the same thing with hip hop. There's a million different subgenres that represent like different parts of the Black experience. So there's like there's trap music in hip hop, where it glorifies, like, you know, the party, the turn up, the having a good time. Then there's conscious hip hop, where it glorifies like being socially conscious, being like aware of the injustices we face. Then there's like R&B, which is like the dynamic between the traditionally male and female dynamic, you know, in Black music. So it's like the Black Lives Matter and hip hop they just go hand in hand to me.
Well, man, Joe Biden said the other day that all Black people are the same, man. Ain't no diversity, so stop talking about that. All right?
Did he really say that?
Yeah, no, he didn't say that.
I would start a whole thing.
Fake news.
Yeah, right. Fake news, bro. All right. So now I do want to get, since you are a hip hop head, I want to argue with you about some stuff. All and Greg agrees with me on this 100%. I can tell you that. We hate Drake. Drake sucks ass. And look, this is the thing. Drake, to me, is fraudulent, and he's an actor. Okay. Why do people like you and Christopher McBride like Drake? Oh, also on Corey Wallace. He's also a weird person who likes Drake.
Listen, man. The thing about Drake that I love is that he makes you can't deny his greatness in terms of like the music he makes.
Absolutely not. Drake is an actor.
Actor of what? Like,
he reads paper. He don't do shit. Somebody says, here you go,
have
Drake.
you heard? Have you heard his last album? Have you heard all his albums?
He reads and acts. He didn't produce no beats.
He doesn't have to produce to be a great
He
artist.
didn't write no lyrics.
Yes, he did.
Shit, crazy as hell. You can't prove that.
Okay, listen. Kanye has ghostwriters.
So
Drake
you telling
has
me
ghostwriters.
Kanye can't? You telling me Kanye can't write? Is that what you're saying?
Kanye can write. I'm just saying that, like,
so that's why he. That's
everyone
fine.
has ghostwriters, bro.
Okay, I got a great. Okay, I'll tell you what. Now, think about this. You know, you ever heard of this woman called Maya Angelou?
Yes.
Okay, she's a poet, right?
Are you comparing Drake to Maya
What?
Angelou?
No. What if Maya Angelou never wrote a poem? Instead, I wrote the poems.
Okay.
She read them. Is she a poet?
She performed them?
I wrote them. She read them. Is she a poet?
She's a performer.
That's what Drake is. He's an actor.
He's a performer.
No, he's an actor.
So Maya Angelou, by those standards, Maya Angelou would be a performer, an actor.
Yeah, she'd be a fucking actor. She just like Denzel. Somebody else write the shit. Denzel get on thing. He move around. We like, damn, that was great.
Drake.
But Spike Lee wrote the shit. Spike Lee, the real bad motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying like the person who makes the music is, so the producer is the one that's the greatness.
Yeah, and you should agree with this, but you know why? Because you are a producer.
I agree. The producers need to get more credit. No, they're getting credit now, but like I'm saying that Drake makes a song like this. A song is just a beat without anything, without like the lyrics and stuff. Drake makes great music, bro. You can't deny it, man. It's just like
doesn't write the lyric. This is my
so that's your whole argument.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't write the lyrics,
he's an actor. If we can all agree that Drake is a fraudulent actor, then I'm cool with that.
Whatever you want to call him, a fraudulent actor. I still think he makes amazing music.
All right. If you, man, have y'all heard that new Mulatto, the WAP song?
Yes.
WAP, Worship and Praise.
Yeah, the worship and praise.
Same thing with Cardi. I was thinking, you know, it's funny because
Cardi's she's not a rapper.
She's not a rapper, and neither is Drake. And when she was saying her lyrics, I told my wife, I was like, yo, Cardi needs a new ghostwriter because these lyrics is whack. They trash. Like, yo, those lyrics was trash. Like they could have been, she could have been more creative.
It wasn't a great song, I'll give you that. But the song was just mostly for shock value. That's what I think it was.
The beat, the production value on the song is amazing to me. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna listen to this song over and over because the beat is crazy. And if you listen to Mulatto's joint, she got a joint similar. Her lyrics are better, but her production isn't quite as good. And so I don't want to listen to her song no more. She got Gucci Mane on it. He sucks.
I think. Do you even like rappers?
I like Talib, Kweli,
Oh,
Tupac. I like fucking I like a lot of motherfuckers, but I like motherfuckers who talk about shit. You know what I mean?
Okay. Drake talks about shit too.
What, singing and going to the beach, hanging out with girls? That ain't shit.
He's just very popular.
J. Cole, that's a rapper. Come on, bro.
You sound like one of those old heads.
I tell you what, the cat that's on the guys that are on the beats that you producing, those are rappers. They sound beautiful, man. Did you write their lyrics?
No.
Exactly. Thank you. I rest my case.
I did not write their lyrics.
Yo, Greg, do you got one of his Gingis' songs ready?
I can pull one up. Yeah.
Yo, play.
Man, what side of the bed you wake up on this morning, man?
I know, man.
You know what happened was we were talking about Darrian being from Mississippi before we went on, and I think he's just trying to prove to everyone how Mississippi he actually is.
Wait, are there Mississippi rappers?
How country?
Whoa! Yo, man, you need to yo. You ever heard of?
Wait. Bubba Sparks. That's the only dude from Mississippi.
Get the fuck out of here. You ever heard of fucking David Banner, boy? The hell wrong with you?
All right, David Banner. I'll give you David Banner.
Yo, it's a nice cat out right now. He's about our age. His name is Silas. Go check him out. You're gonna like him. I'm gonna send you something right now on Instagram.
That's your cousin, isn't it?
No, it ain't my cousin. But we did go to school together.
Oh.
But he's really dope. Dear Silas. That's his stage name.
Silas.
Dear Silas. Silas.
S-I-L.
So
All right, I'll check
you
him
can
out.
go to Instagram and check him out. Corey Wallace just posted one of his things on Instagram the other day,
I'll check him out.
and I wrote him. I was like, "Yo, I grew up with that dude. I've been on his music for a minute. I'll try to get him on a podcast. Hopefully, he comes on one day."
Man, I'm sorry. I got to chime in on this whole conversation that went down, man. It's because it's like it's funny. Like I guess it sounds like you sound like a grumpy jazz musician, Darrian, right now.
No, I like hip hop. I just don't like those people.
No, but you like, but it's funny because like at every end of the industry, you have people who are good at different things.
Yeah,
and so like, you have someone like Frank Sinatra, like he didn't write all the standards he sang, but people didn't want to hear someone else sing those songs.
Yeah.
And the same thing exists in the classical world. Like you have a whole orchestra of musicians that are playing someone else's music all the time. However, you have some virtuoso musicians that like you got cats like as like a clarinet player, someone like Anthony McGill, who is just world class. He's not necessarily writing the music that he's playing, but he's still a great artist.
And I can agree with that, but this is my rebuttal to all of that. If you go through the history of hip hop, right? At the beginning of hip hop, all of those dudes, those men and women, they were writing their lyrics, and they're poets. And I think that MCs are poets. And I'm just saying, I don't believe in particular that a person like Drake is an MC, but people give him a lot of credit. Can he rap? Yes. But when did we cross the threshold of that being enough? That's why I'm pissed about it.
The more that I've been like in the, I guess the hip hop music scene, the more I realize that the most successful people aren't the ones who are the most necessarily talented. They're the ones who are the most marketable. Right? So the way I look at like the whole Drake situation, Drake is a very marketable person, like half Jewish, half black.
He's Canadian.
Yeah. Canadian.
That's another problem. That's why I call him fraudulent.
Look, let me tell you, all great singers come from Canada, man. All vocalists, man. I don't know what it is, but there's like 10 of them that are just like on top of the world from Canada, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, Drake got
Bieber.
talent, bro. But he's fraudulent because he's pretending to be African American, and he's exploiting
his dad is black.
He's exploiting African American culture. That nigga from Canada. You been to Canada, bro? I've been up there.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, all right. You need to go. Then you gonna see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but he's from Toronto. It's not like he's from like a.
I know, it's right up the street.
Yeah. And Toronto's a very diverse place.
No, it really. I've been there many times, man. It's. I'm just, I just got a thing for Drake. My wife. Go ahead.
But like the thing is like you have to acknowledge, like as a performer, for all of us, the most important thing we can really do as musicians is like connect with people. And
Absolutely.
How many musicians do we know who are like amazing musicians, if not some of the best musicians, but like they're like, hi, nice to meet you, or whatever, like can't make eye contact or hold a conversation or do any of these like fundamental things to really engage and connect with an audience. And so I know you don't like Drake, but I'm sure Drake is he engages and connects with his audience and his fan base on a very high level. And I think ultimately that's something that might actually be the most important part of being a performer or artist. So it doesn't matter what the content of your art is, because everyone's going to have an opinion on that. But if you can connect with a lot of people, like you can talk all the shit you want, but he's got the followers.
Yeah.
You're right. I cannot say
and
anything.
we got 7 people watching right now. So.
Hey, all 7 of y'all, Greg just dropped some knowledge. While we got y'all on here though, Greg, why don't you play one of Gengis' songs?
Which one?
I like that party, that summer joint.
All right. Let's see if
what?
I call it the summer joint. I listen to it all the time.
Work It Out?
Yeah, Work It Out.
Work It Out.
It's a very summer joint.
Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna try and do this. I hope I do it right. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I had a horn.
Radical laughs right now. Yeah. Let's get it. You gotta work it out. Push through, ain't nobody gonna do it but you. You gotta work it out. It gets hard out here, work hard out here. Work hard, gotta work it out. Only limit yourself, that's bad for your health. Gotta work it out. Yeah. I push the limit. I see you working out, but you never finished. The last rep, gotta push your way through the last breath. Gotta show yourself you got more left. It's gonna be the test of the best of the rest. Be the quest for the S on your chest. Be the beat, can never settle for the less. Yeah, yeah. Work it out, pump it out, shake it out, breathe. Work it out, pump it out, shake it out, breathe. Hey, work it out, pump it out, shake it out, breathe, breathe. Work it out, pump it out, shake it out, breathe. I'm getting live, I'm getting better every time I try. I'm feeling like I've never been alive, feeling like finally hitting my stride. All of this stuff I have it with pride. All of the haters I put them to side. Put in the work and no stopping the drive. I know I got this, I got my own vibe. Put your hands up if you feel it, gotta work it out.
That's enough, man.
Don't
give it all to him.
You gotta work it out. It gets harder.
Yeah, that was pretty good, man. I'm glad I inspired that song, man. I'm really happy I inspired that. What brought that about though? What's your process for that?
Oh, okay.
Beautiful song, man.
Thank you. So this song specifically, like I made the beat years ago. I made the beat maybe like when did Cecile's Dreams and Daggers come out? The one that she won a Grammy for.
Oh man, that must have been
5 years ago.
Yeah,
Really?
Might be
a minute ago. Yeah, we have to use
Look
somebody
it up.
use Google and tell us that in the comments.
Well, yeah. There was a period in time. That's when I like kind of like was in love with jazz when I heard Cecile's album, because I heard Lawrence on it, and I was like, "Yo, this is killing."
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So the sample is actually Cecile McLaurin Savant. And
Oh, word!
Is that really her?
That's
Yeah.
great. That's
No
that's-
way.
the sample that I use is called it's from You Getting to Be a Habit with Me.
Oh yeah.
I used that sample and I just like chopped it up a little bit, and yeah, and I wanted to use something that Lawrence was on because I felt like it was important. And so I was working on my album at the time, and the album that like the premise of it is just mental health issues in the Black community, and how we cope with it, and how different ways that we cope with it, and different ways it affects like not only the person but like those around them. And so with this one specifically, I wanted it to focus on just getting active, and how staying active and staying like in shape can also help people cope with mental health issues.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And so I sent it to Yanks, who's the rapper on it, and I told him like what I was looking for, and then he sent me back Work It Out. And then we made some like a little adjustments here and there, like just like mixing and mastering adjustments and post-production stuff, like adding some breaks and different like effects and stuff. But other than that, that's how it came about.
That's great, man. I noticed 'cause I listen to all your songs, because I'm a real fan, honestly.
Appreciate it.
And I noticed that a lot of your songs, I mentioned this to you once before, that have some kind of jazz influence, even though you hate jazz, even though you don't like playing drums. and for me, it really brings me in if I hear a trumpet or a bass, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's as a musician, you hear those things. So
Yeah, that's what I've been like. I feel like that's been my lane, because it's something that I studied a lot and I put a lot of time into, and like the culture of jazz, like I'm very aware of it. I was very submerged in it. So I try to bring that into my production, because a lot of people do it like with the lo-fi sound, and like a lot of producers try to bring like they just think that a lot of producers who aren't from like an actual jazz background, like they'll hear a trumpet and something, and then they'll automatically think it's jazzy, they'll hear like an instrument. And so with me, I feel like what sets me apart is that like I actually have that training, I have that like experience of actually being around and playing jazz. And so I know exactly what I'm looking for whenever I like try to make something that emulates jazz, but also it sounds modern for the like hip hop fans, So I try to bring both worlds together.
yeah, bro.
So many times people are just like, oh yeah, can you make it jazzy? And they just think it's like bringing a trumpet or something.
Yeah,
like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you talk about as a producer, like making a song like that, writing the music for it, what kind of like software and what kind of like technology tools you use to make that happen?
Yeah, I just use my computer.
Are you working on
Yeah.
Logic or what are you using?
I use FL Studios, like Fruity Loops. So with that, I bought Fruity Loops. Okay, I didn't buy it. My parents bought it for me. That it was it was a birthday
It's
gift.
2020. It's
Yeah.
okay, man.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Listen. My junior year of college, I decided I wanted to produce, and like my parents for Christmas, they were like, I asked my parents if they could buy me FL Studios, and they were like, sure. And then since then, it's just been an investment. Like I spent every day like learning how to produce, what exactly like how it works, and like dedicating a lot of time into just like every day, just going in and trying to make something every day. If you heard like the stuff I put out like when I first started producing, I'm very like ashamed of it, and like no one will ever hear it, but it's just a testament to like actually staying true to something, and like just keep going, you know.
You're shedding, right? You're just
Yeah,
like
just
you're like
it's a
picking up the
muscle.
drumsticks and you're just like
Yeah,
It's a muscle, man.
little by little.
But
I-
another thing I noticed, another thing that like was a very big factor for me with like production, was that like it was hard to focus on production and focus on drumming too, because whenever I'd have gigs before the pandemic, I couldn't produce because I didn't have time to produce, because a lot of the time was going into preparing for the gigs and rehearsals and travel. And then when I wanted to produce, I'd have to like give up on some gigs, because I had to focus on like actually sitting down and making some stuff with people, or whatever the case is. So now that I've decided to focus on one thing, it just lets me really dig deep into that.
yeah. We got a question over here from Facebook, and it's a good friend of mine actually. I grew up with this guy. His name is Alexander Johnson, and he says he's looking to make music with others. I guess he hasn't really been playing music much these days, but he just got an electric drum set, and he wanted to know if FL Studio was a good way to do that.
I'm not sure how like what the compatibility is with like an electronic drum set to FL Studios, but I know if a real drum set you can kind of mic and record through FL. But I'm not really sure about like the electronic drum sound too
Yeah,
much.
Alex, man, Google that shit, bro.
Hey,
Alex
can
is my man.
as man, you know, this might be a good question. Like, as for like a young musician, like someone who's like 10, 12 years old, looking to get into production and
Yeah.
actually like do the stuff that you're doing now, do you feel like it's important to actually go and study music, like learn how to play classical piano or learn how to play jazz or something like that? Like what, like musically, because I mean, what the track we just heard, there's a lot of music in it. It's not just like beats with a loop, you know, there's like some content in there based on what happened before.
Yeah.
And so how would you what would you recommend that process to look like?
If
you were to open up your music school, what would you do?
I actually taught high schoolers music production.
Wow.
And but for me, I would say that having like a good foundation in terms of just like basic music theory, and knowing like enough to get by is always going to be a good thing. Like, not, you can never like know too much of something, you know. For me, I think what helped me was having like a little educate, because I didn't go to school for my undergrad in jazz or like music or anything like that.
You
I
did
went to school
accounting, right?
for accounting.
Damn.
So
Yeah, bro.
so like I didn't have that much experience in terms of theory and just music period, and studying it and studying the history of it. I didn't have that much upbringing, but when I did finally like get to have that experience and like learning music, it definitely like was an advantage for me, and it took my production to a new level because it made it so much easier just to come up with more ideas. Also, when you're working with artists who don't necessarily have that music that history of music and understanding of just basic music stuff, it's easier to get their ideas out because they can be like, oh, I want it to sound like this, like I want it dark. So you think like, all right, minor chords, blah blah blah, or like diminished stuff, and then yeah, just having that like basic, just minimal training, I think is optimal because you don't want to force it too much where the person is like a freaking, what's his name, what the hell is his name, Jacob.
Oh, Collier.
Yeah, you don't want that because
Yeah,
he's a genius, don't get me wrong, but
totally.
like at the same time it's just like, all right bro, like I have so much information that it's like I have so much musical information in my head that I wouldn't know what to do. So for me, I like to have options. Give yourself some options musically so you can know enough where you can like explore different options, but definitely have a foundation in studying the history of music and like certain just like basic theory.
Yeah.
Do you recommend an instrument to start on?
Drums.
Drums?
Drums and then bass. I love bass.
Do you, I mean,
Bass is my favorite. Like I think like drummers love basses, bassists love drummers. Like it's just like the rhythm section hook
you
up.
go hand in hand. But like as far as like input into your computer, I mean, are you using a keyboard to do a lot of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. For production, it definitely helps to know. Like the number one is probably knowing like harmony stuff. That's the most important thing, I think. But like for me, a lot of so a lot of producers have their like specialties. Like Pharrell's known for being very diverse, but like certain producers have like their own sound. Like when you hear Kanye's music, you hear like the high pitched samples that he used, and like Pharrell has his like the 4-bar intro loop that he does. Like there's a lot of like specific things that people are known for. For me, I try to be known for like the drums of my songs. Like the drums are very like tight, but they also create like a vibe for everything else to be like sitting in the pocket pretty well.
Yeah. I want to just change the subject. We run out of time. We got like 15 minutes left, and
Okay.
we already had our argument. So now I want to get into the into the spiritual side of life. And I'm just curious, just generally, are you religious? And if so, how has that affected your day-to-day life and the decisions that you make?
Yeah, junior year of college, I converted to Islam. I grew up Christian, went to church and everything, but then I guess I reached a point where I was just really questioning a lot of my faith and my values, and like I was just trying to figure out what I resonated with and what teachings I resonated with. And my roommates my junior year were Muslim, excuse me, and I was always interested in the culture, in like the religion, and just knowing more about it. And then one day they took me to a mosque, and it like really opened my mind into like the possibility of other religions, because growing up Christian in like a Caribbean household, like Christianity is just like, it is what it is,
Yeah.
and you can't really, you don't question it. It's just like, all right, I was born this way. Like I was born Christian. My parents take me to church every Sunday, so therefore I have to be Christian. And when I got to college, I was able to experience different religions and see what I resonated with the most. And Islam was it, because it just practiced a lot of like humility and brotherhood, and no one person is bigger than anybody else, And I thought that the teachings of Muhammad, peace be upon him, but like I think that they those teachings were like just so profound, and I really resonated with that more than anything else.
Yeah, it's interesting because religion, I think, to a lot of African Americans especially, plays a big role in your life. And for you to switch from Christianity to Islam must have been some turbulence. I couldn't have done it. I mean, I could have done it, but it would have been like, I'm not religious currently, but I was raised ultra religious.
Yeah.
But I am spiritual.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not atheist by any means, but I just have I always tell people I have my own religion. I just put together my own things from all of the different things I've experienced throughout my life.
My parents, they didn't talk to me for like a couple weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely like a hard thing to tell them.
That's crazy, man. That was going to be my next question. Yeah, it's like how does your family react to a decision like that? I mean,
well, obviously coming from like when your parents, all they know is Christianity. They grew up Christian. Their parents raised them Christian, so they'd never the thought never crossed their mind that you could be something else. And so I think it was more of like their reaction was more of like wow, I can't fathom this because I wasn't able to do that. I didn't have that option. Mm-hmm. So for them, I feel like it was just really shocking. But I understood why they were like upset, and they have every reason to be. But at the same time, I'm my own person, and I gotta make my own decisions for myself. And I think ultimately they realize that, and we're at a point now where like they are very, they're okay with it. Like they're understanding, and they let me just exist peacefully.
How has changing religions affected or impacted who you are?
I did it more so for peace of mind. And when I did it at the time, like when I first did it, I was like, wow, I feel like a reborn, But after that, I just realized, like living more, I just realized that it's more so the religion doesn't do that for you. It's more so self-reflection and like introspection. That's what does it for you. And the religion is just like it's like a direction. Like it's like you print out MapQuest. It prints out directions to like a map. Mm-hmm. And I think that religion does that for you.
Yeah. I like that, man. We got a few more minutes. And before we go, I like to play this little thing. I call it the word game. Greg has never played it, but we about to play it right now.
Oh God! Is this like Uno where you lose all the time?
Oh, bro, I never lost. I'm undefeated. If anybody out there who wants to, I'm undefeated. Lost. Never lost. Never. So basically, the way it works is I'm gonna say a word, and then you and Greg are gonna take turns saying one sentence about the word.
I don't want to play this game.
Greg, you playing? All right, y'all ready?
All right.
Gingis, you go first. Love
is overrated.
Wow. Hey, whoever broke his heart, come on.
I was going to say love is a beautiful thing. But it's totally overrated.
Come on, no. Overrated, bro. Come on. There's something wrong with y'all, man. It really is, man.
Oh, man.
All right, here we go. Police.
I'm not trying to mess with any police. I stay away from them.
Fuck them.
Okay. Fuck them. Fuck the police.
Yeah.
You're going back to the 90s, huh? Success
isn't built overnight.
Ooh. Come on.
There you go. What you got for us, Greg?
Oh, what do I got?
Yeah.
Dedication.
Wow, you're gonna give me one word. The rules was I give you a word, you give me a sentence.
Oh. What was the word again? Oh,
Success.
success. Oh man, success is subjective.
Wow. Man, that's deep. That right there is a whole discussion. Success is subjective.
Yeah.
It reminds me, man, my dad used to tell me, no matter what you do, be successful. So even if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper there is. And he used to tell me that all the time.
Yep.
Unproductivity.
Is a blessing in disguise.
Unproductivity. Yeah, I'd say it's still productive.
Wow,
True.
unproductivity is still productive. All right, there you go.
Darren, do you understand that word?
Unproductivity.
Yeah.
I'm unproductive all the time, man. You know, I'd be playing 2K20 and shit.
I don't even know
That's-
how you find time to do that.
I wake up at 4:30, 5 in the morning. I play 2K for 2 hours, and then
Bro, what?
I go for a run. You know,
Yo, I'll wake up in the morning around 8:39. I have like 19 emails from Darren starting
That's
at like
funny.
2:45 in the morning.
yeah. I'm
And then I
crazy.
call him and he's taking his nap.
That's right. I gotta take a nap. I got one more. This for you, Gingis.
All right.
Tupac.
Overrated.
Whoa!
All right, good night, everybody.
All right. Okay. So this goes back to the argument about what you were saying about Drake. Tupac is a performer. Tupac is an actor. Tupac is a rapper too, though. But listen, right? Tupac is also a rapper, but first, Tupac is an entertainer.
I'm with all of that. But
All
Tupac
right.
wrote his own lyrics, my G. That's all I'm saying.
But what is Tupac mostly known for?
It's like, this is the thing, man. All y'all are crazy, man. It's like y'all try to put Jordan and Kobe in the same category. Tupac and Drake don't even live in the same universe, my man. Drake live in the gutter. Tupac,
When I think of Tupac, I think of activism. I don't really think of his music first, you know? I think of Tupac. I think of Tupac.
Dear
mostly,
Mama.
I don't resonate with his music that much.
California Love.
Before my time, player.
What?
Wait,
See, you need.
wait. What year were you born?
Yeah, what year you were born?
96.
Oh, you ain't, bro. Well, I mean, man.
Before his time. Anyway.
I'm gonna send you a playlist, bro.
Man, look, we're both getting old.
No, I like Tupac, but when I think of, that's not the first thing I think of is his music, you know?
Okay. I get that because he was an activist.
Yeah.
And the first thing you think about with Drake is singing, right? Not rapping. Honestly,
No.
I didn't even know that dude was singing until Shadia told me. She was like, Drake's singing. I got pissed. She had to listen to me just go on a fucking, I'm screaming every day for about 2 weeks. Like, so he basically Ja Rule. That's what I think. He's basically Ja Rule, bro.
What?
Drake is Ja Rule. He's a Ja Rule of our age, bro.
That's so disrespectful to Drake.
Hey, no. That nigga is Ja Rule. Okay.
Drake is the greatest, is honestly the greatest artist of this generation.
You think
bro,
Drake is the greatest artist of this generation?
It's something wrong. Man, I'm about to hang up this. Greg, hang up this live, bro.
I'm gonna mute Darren. Why is I just want to know, why is Drake the greatest artist of this generation?
In terms of his impact, I think he's the greatest artist of this generation. And when I say this generation, I mean like 2010s and on.
And I'm genuinely curious because I don't think I've ever heard a Drake song, so I have
You've
no
definitely
idea.
heard a Drake song.
You've heard
and
a
didn't
Drake
even
song.
know.
You've heard a Drake song.
I have no idea who Drake is. I know that I've seen his like picture at like the Toronto Raptors basketball games and stuff like that. That's it.
Drake is okay. Drake. What sets Drake apart from everyone else is that he's very, very adaptable as an artist. He'll take whatever is like the hot genre of music, like the drill. You ever heard of Chicago drill music? It's a type of music that's like it's it's specifically in Chicago, and it's like a type of trap music that's very like intense. And Drake stole that. I wouldn't say steal, but like he adapted that sound, and he became really good at it. And then he adapted the UK drill, which is like another type of hip hop, and then he took that and he ran with it. And he also did the whole Afro beats type of music too, which is like just a whole just like Tony Allen esque. And so I like Drake because he can live in other people's world and make it his own. And I think that there's not an artist out currently that can do it to the extent that Drake does it.
I do not agree with that. But hey, Gingis today is our guest. Gregory Agid is also here. We ran out of time, and unfortunately, we got to leave it at that. I mean,
Man,
I'm really
fine with that.
Before
that.
before we dip out, can you tell us how everyone can find you online?
Yeah, Instagram, you can follow me on Gengis Don, GENGIS_DON. My Instagram, my Facebook is Gengis Don as well. Twitter is Gengis Don. You can follow me. You can listen to my music on Spotify under Gengis Don too. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, like whatever. You can follow me.
Do you have a Bandcamp?
I do.
Yeah.
It's Gengis Don as well. But I also have like my own band, Gengis Don and the Empire. We just put out an album. You can check it out too.
That's what's up. Yo, thank y'all. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Gingis.
Thank
And,
you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank everybody who's out there watching. This is the Working Artist Project. I'm Darrian Douglas.
I'm Gregory Agid.
And we'll
Gang,
catch y'all
thank you
later.
so much.
Yep. Thank you guys for having me. Peace.
Later.